Your Honor, I stand before you today not just as a victim of Tracy Fitch's negligence, but as someone whose life's been ripped apart in ways that defy common thinking. That Uber Tesla that she destroyed was not just a car, it was my lifeline. It was my way out of the darkest and most dangerous situation of my life. It was my escape from the hell of what I now know is a human trafficking network that's been haunting me, degrading me, and others for a bunch of sickos, primarily affiliated with Kansas State University and Northwestern. The moment I acquired that car, I saw hope for the first time. It would seem like forever. It was my chance to not only survive, but to thrive. The Tesla represented my ability to earn a legitimate, legal, consistent income with low expenses. To break free from the shackles of exploitation and control, to build a future where I can live independently. Free to reset my own Wi-Fi password. Free at will. Free to collect my own mail without it being stolen. Freedom to play music over the radio or the Alexa whenever I want. Freedom to play classical music that I trained in since the age of 4, taking courses under professors from Juilliard, without fearing that after I play one song, somebody's gonna hit my car, or a car, or any car, somebody's going to die. Like when I step on a Peloton. That car wasn't just a car. It was everything I'd worked for, all of the abuse that I put up with in the service industry. It was my ticket to freedom. But in an instant, 2 weeks after I got the car, Tracy Fitch stole that from me. In one reckless moment, she obliterated my escape plan and sent me spiraling back to a place I worked so hard to leave behind. And yet, this case, yeah, it's about a car. It's about a job. It's about money. But it's not just about that. It's about a broader system of survival and progress. About the years of hard work I've invested into building my life from nothing. You see, my journey wasn't handed to me. When I started in the rideshare industry, I had nothing. No savings, no assets, no credit, just a burning desire to make a better life for myself. Because I got into graduate school at the last minute and had to make the money. I had nothing. I borrowed $150 from a friend and started renting vehicles through the Lyft program. I began driving, and I began driving like my life depended on it, because it did. I was so happy to have any job that all these people who are miserable in rideshare and cabbing, I loved it. Every single penny I earned, I was very careful with. Sure, I have a clothes habit, okay? I'm a chick. When I arrived in Maryland, I didn't even have, I don't want to go back to this thinking. I couldn't have stood before you in this. Not as something that I made myself. This is pretty tough for me. It's tougher than I think a lot of people realize. Because they see me, they see my education, and they envy me, or they think that I'm, like some multi-billionaire's kid. I grew up around that kind of money, but I didn't have that money. It wasn't ever allowed for me to have it as a woman with dark hair, where I'm from. Every single penny I earned. Hey, how's it going? Good. Thank you so much for fixing that damn mold. Oh my gosh. So, they did a good job with that. So, where am I? Okay. Where am I? That sounds like the most of my life. Okay. I already applied for the Masters of Blockchain because of my involvement as a node on XBT BTC in 2009. In all fairness, I thought it was kind of like, what the hell, that's stupid. Ooh, mining? What are these machines, I found a Bitcoin? What do you mean? Okay, I didn't know about the 12 passwords for the wallet. And my original email is unrecoverable. But I kind of remember that we hid the passwords around the world. And yes, it's a group of people. It's Satoshi Nakamoto. You don't want to know the story. And it's not Craig Wright. Sorry, Craig Wright. Sorry, David Lipka. Okay, so my ex-boyfriend worked for Live Nation as a programmer in charge of top musicians' web stores such as Mariah Carey, Madonna, Shakira, Daddy Yankee. He probably ran off to Cambodia or Russia with a Bitcoin, or he spent it. Or Elon killed him. What is that Saturday Night like? Mario Wario? I don't know. Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. It's German. Okay, so it was also, okay, so here's what Bitcoin was built for. It was a think tank to get China on the grid and to get the race mixing Muslims in China to go into China further, give them more assets, give them some control over a financial system that they're geofenced from at will, from whenever China wants to shut off their money through their SWIFT system while the money goes to SWIFT. You know that. I don't have to tell anyone here that, except for maybe you, Tracy. But anyway, it's like to help with the hackers. So the Dutch were largely behind it. The government of Dutch, the Netherlands, one of the biggest holders and one of the original holders of Bitcoin, because they were getting SWIFT hacked on flower shipments with Kenya, because Kenya's hackers were very good. So that's why Bitcoin's orange. TMI. Okay, on to the case. I have tried, this is why I have to read this, because I will go on a tangent. I'll go on a soapbox about corporate greed, about poor people hating rich people for the wrong reasons. I will just go on. But anyway, and how everyone wants to degrade someone like me. I have tried to locate him many times to find my Bitcoin that I mined with my Hewlett Packard laptop back then. Yeah, you could find a Bitcoin with an HP from, I don't know, PC Richards, yeah. Okay, so anyway, it's also been used to mitigate conflict, as you see wonderfully in El Salvador with, I drove the guy early in my Bitcoin and my master's degree. I told them about the case use studies in Cyprus and Rwanda. So my friends here in the neighborhood from El Salvador, who are the good people, they did profit from Bitcoin and the fact that they don't have to trust each other, and it does mitigate conflict. And yeah, Bakari did a great job in El Salvador cleaning it up, So anyway, everything is always stolen from me, and I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of being degraded. So that people can, take my stuff and then make me feel like I don't deserve it. I'm also tired of being raped. I'm old. It's not happening as much as it used to. But there have been so many times that I've been pregnant that I don't remember anything. I've been on the run because of that. And then I always end up with somebody who's in the same fraternity network. And I'm tired of it. When Fitch said the police tried to coerce her, that was my break point, and that was my friend's break point. But it was my break point because I have experienced police brutality based on slander from women who with less education and less appearance at that time. I'm old now, and it was brutal. And thank God there were good German cops there, because they used to work with my uncle, Sheriff Steve Holmes, who's also dead, who was married to my aunt, who's a law partner, who's also dead, and was into Echo, law firm and biofuel more so than Tesla and electric. She was really into biofuel, which was great for the area and the corn farmers. So, and all that money's gone. All her money's gone. Same judges stuck me with this guy, misappropriated. So if I'm a little bit distrusting of the judicial process, please, have some mercy on me. I've been through a lot. Yeah, so I was kidnapped in a church in an Armani dress with a Dolce & Gabbana bag by two men in suits, taken away in the middle of the night somewhere else, and woke up to redheaded people raping me, who I don't doubt maybe or maybe not It might not, it might be my, thinking that they might be part of the conspiracy against me and against the car. Perhaps they're not. I don't know. But it isn't so insane to think so when you know what went on. You can also find that the FBI did go back into that facility in Kansas and busted it and found my findings that were true. That some Eastern European police had been pimping the best looking women and children and girls through the system, accusing them of things they maybe did but probably didn't do, and then transferring them to hospitals where they were getting raped. Can't make this up. So why don't I go back? I can't go back. You don't realize that. My decision to accept the judge's offer and the plea with Franklin's family to go to Maryland in exchange for free rent. And if I'm ever hungry, he has to feed me pizza. Yeah, pizza. I can't have salad. That's all I'm worth to them. But I do have a free room and he did include a bathroom. I have my own space indefinitely. And to go back to somebody I hate, who I knew was an asshole, but I didn't know he did traffic me at that point. I just found that out recently. So to go back to that, overstaying in Kansas with an offer of housing, knowing that it's a 2-signature state where I would likely be murdered like almost everybody that I can remember that I played volleyball, basketball with out there. The most beautiful, the most high income earning people that weren't involved in the fraternities and sororities. Army veterans particularly, which makes me think it's a side from China. My grandpa was a major Army officer. He was well decorated with Korea. He had a huge funeral, and he would not have tolerated this. He was also from Maryland, and that's why they sent me back to Maryland. And I'm grateful to Maryland. But I feel like I'm putting everyone in danger because they don't want me to have anything. And the fact that Maryland stood up for me, I can't blame it on myself. The plane crashed because also I'm not the only one they're targeting. Georgetown University grad. Moran's daughter. They made an attack on her with that. They killed her classmates. And when you see these people, you're like, they're doing that? Them? And the only people who seem to care are the Germans and Swiss. Why are we letting everyone get by with them? That's why I'm taking such a stand on this. You cannot damage my legal business for illegal businesses. You're forcing people into crime when you take away their legitimate legal earnings. And there's so many anti-American sentiments here. I could go on my soapbox. Yes, I have an ancestry of the Pilgrims who convinced all these idiots to come here. I have a fire in my soul that keeps me going, keeps me good, and keeps me fighting for justice. And this time I'm fighting for myself. I'm not backing down. I mean, Meisenheimer, he knew I'd be murdered if I stayed in Kansas, but he also was part of Kansas State. He let them steal from me, but he let me live. I don't know that I can forgive him for his decisions or not. But the fact that he took the assets away from my aunt, my cousin, and other women in the farms for men who haven't done much with it does anger me. And no, I'm not a feminazi. I'm not some raging feminist. But that I'm being attacked by women as the only female rideshare driver in the region that's nationally ranked is unnerving and disappointing. I work diligently to climb out of poverty. They tell you, go to school, work hard, go to school, work hard. I did that. I went to school. I worked hard. I'm tired of just surviving. I need to thrive. And that's what I was doing in rideshare. Even in my meager days of regular rideshare with rental costs and gas costs, so my net income might be $300 a week, I was still able to invest $30 every Wednesday into Ethereum and turn $600 into 40 grand. You can go into my Coinbase. It's in the packet. It was in the original restitution packet as well. These small but consistent investments did turn into something larger. They're gone now. All of that is gone. Thanks, Tracy. I studied so hard and took school so seriously when I was out of the grips of Kansas State in New York. Training every day at NYU with a 3.8 in technical analysis and valuation, doing all of my own homework, pen to paper. But when Fitch's negligence caused me to liquidate those crypto assets to cover for these charge-offs that I had the money for at the time, and all the extra things slammed on my credit, how would you like $1,000 slammed on your credit in like a month? And then the transmission drained in Baltimore. So there was $7,000 of crypto in a down market that at one time was worth 40 grand and today would be worth $120,000 without any additional investments. Even after all this financial strain, even after my dreams were nearly shattered, I kept fighting, and I'll keep fighting. I'm a fighter. I kept working, doing all, what my grandparents from Switzerland said, that good salt of the earth. Ironically, my mom was a pilgrim so my grandma was kind of being smart. But anyway, working. What built this country? Legitimate service jobs, not just ivory towery lofty. I was out there getting my hands dirty, working and loving it, okay? But the damage done by Fitch, both financially, and I can't say the other word because I'm black from saying it, though I really would like to invoke my right to free speech, which is what made this country awesome. And our rights in NYU, they're like, the best thing about the USA is that we have the freedom to fail. Other countries don't. That's why we innovate so much. And I failed the Luminae hearing, but I'm not failing today. I did my homework, I put the extra work in, and I'm doing the best that I can. My savings, my crypto, my credit, everything was gone on February 28th, 2023. My chance to escape the cycle of abuse and exploitation was stolen from me in the moment of negligence. In addition to the financial devastation, I have been denied the opportunity to live with dignity and independence I fought for. My goal was to secure enough income to qualify me for my own living arrangements, away from the toxic control of Kansas State, Katie Rombach-Schwab, and anybody else who just can't handle me doing better than them. Numerous times my roommate has claimed that he is part of a conspiracy to degrade me and spy on me, but I'm not allowed the confidence to believe these things because they might be crazy. And it wasn't until Xander, a Harvard lawyer, told me that I'm not crazy. But this is going on. He has the tapes, and it's actually worse than you know. I have my what is it called? See, trauma makes me forget. I have the retainer agreement for the human trafficking case here today. If you'd like to see it, I have the retainer agreement. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to fight back physically? Am I supposed to go jack their car? Am I supposed to go take 90% of their assets and make them liquidate them in a down market? Am I supposed to go to Allstate and take 90% of everything they've ever earned and then say, here you go, have fun. Why aren't you doing so well? Huh? Didn't go Kansas State? What am I supposed to do? Act like them, get on their level? Your Honor, I will not get on their level. I will continue to fight civilly until I get justice. I see the defendant parading around smugly on social media, getting high fives from these people who don't like the educated, tall, hot white girl. I never really thought of myself as white until I lived in Maryland, y'all. Just so you know, I'm white here. In Kansas, I was a dirty little thing, you know? So that's why I'm always surprised that the reverse racism is a real thing, and I've experienced that. Yeah. And I've experienced that with McNair, and I've experienced that with her client, and whoever is the policy of the branch of the words that make the document that contractually enables her to protection, since I can't say that word. You know what word that is. It starts with an I-on-N. One day we might not even be able to say words with an I-on-N because they're so triggered by this mimetic warfare that is absolutely. How many times have things happen because somebody has an I or an E in their name? I'm tired of it. It's just so dumb. Okay, so I see her parading around social media. Oh, look, I got a tattoo. How much does that cost? You know what I would have done with that tattoo money? In the crypto market, in a down market, and I can prove it because I traded for somebody from Penn who stole my gains in spot gold, and I turned that 10K into 30K in less than a week. They keep me so broke, so I can't cockroach my. They call me a cockroach, you know. I keep reemerging, or I just do it again and freaking flip that money. And these people can handle it, but they didn't study it, but then they need me to steal the trades for them and take the credit and then go tell everyone, look at me, I went to Kansas State, I made 400% on this, I made 47,000%. I'm never going to get credit for that as a woman. And then all women do is degrade me and tell me I should be below them and try to bring me down to their level. And not one woman said congratulations on becoming America's first woman in the blockchain industry, which makes me question everything my fierce lineage has fought for. And yes, we are the only independent state in Russia to this day. As you can see, this is genetic. It is, even with my mom's hardcore chauvinistic line and my William the Conqueror line, the feminism, the women power is in my DNA. It's not going away because thousands of years we run the state. We fought the Russians. We were from Finland. We maintained our own state to this day, even under Putin. He doesn't even mess with us. Messes with Chechnya, but not with Mordovia. Okay, I'm from a fierce line of fierce women, and that can't be taken from me. And I see them getting tattoos. And I see them going on. And in all fairness, I really hope the best for your kids and that all of this is worth it for them. And whoever convinced you to do this to me, if somebody did, pays you very well and delivers on their bargain, but probably they won't. Anyway, I fought like hell for the right to use that Tesla to make more money. And not have expenses with my free charger here. Every day I could come back to the apartment, no rent, no charging. I'd have actual income, not just slave wages that get spent right back on the gasoline and car repair. I would have had money to invest and to leave and a credit score that qualified me for my own apartment. I'm fighting back civilly to send a very clear message that savagery won't be tolerated. I refuse to be brought down into the darkness by jealousy, envy, spite, lust, or any of the other 7 deadly. Your Honor, I implore you to recognize the depth of the harm that has been done. That I worked for nearly a decade to increase my income and decrease my expenses. I set myself up for success, and 2 weeks into it, it was taken away. It's like someone's watching my accounts so carefully, so sadistically. Let me have just a little tape. Let her see what it's like to have that Tesla. And then let's not only take it from her, let's slam everything. Let's just slam her account. She's not gonna have time anyway to mess with it. They did this in the name of her. I'm asking for justice. not only for the physical damage to my property, but for the far-reaching consequences that this incident has caused in my life. I want punitive damages, please. I'm asking for I'm asking for punitive damages so that this reckless behavior, driving a 1,000-pound weapon and aiming it at my business-use Tesla, without regard for consequences, driving, not just driving up, Your Honor, going to the gas station, the gas pump. Well, you take a left into the gas pump and somehow you take a right before you take a left? I hope to God she was drunk, because there's no excuse. And please, if you drink, never drive again. Let us, me not anymore, but let the other Uber drivers that I'm fighting for do this. Okay. My education, my crypto investments, my hard work, all of it, it's been erased by this event. And the delays. Had they paid, had they acknowledged it, right off the bat, boom. The frustration, the credit, everything, I could have been rectified, simply. I could have even fought for my job in May if she'd shown up in May when I got canned. Got deactivated. And then she didn't show up a week later. I was challenging it. Permanently deactivated. Had she shown up in May, would I be permanently deactivated? I don't know. I think it's definitely a contributing factor. I know it's a contributory factor, but can I prove it? Yeah. I think so, but by the standard of proof of the courts. But I can prove she did extreme damage to my career. Threw me off track, put me into a different location that was so shady. Running in Virginia is nice. It's so nice. They have a major lot. They're very professional. The woman's worked there like 20 years. And Baltimore. My personal vehicle gets transmission drained there by other drivers. I get stalked by other drivers. The man there, the fat guy without the teeth, starts stalking me. Asked my friend about it. He's outside. My pit bull related to Elon's outside. I'm not bringing him in. Have him on a leash. He throws me off too, Your Honor. But I had problems at the Baltimore, and I would never have to go to Baltimore if it weren't for Fitch. I never would have had to replace my transmission. It wouldn't have been drained out if it weren't for Fitch. These are real expenses to an Uber driver. I ask this court to stand with me today, not just for compensation, but for justice. For the justice that will allow me to rebuild, restore my financial stability to where I was at the time of the accident, plus where I would be if she hadn't interfered. And punitive damages to send a message. Don't do this. Don't go hitting Teslas. Don't go hitting Uber cars. Not such a good idea. I want to escape the cycle of exploitation that has held me captive for far too long. I want my exodus. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.